Adventures here with my monthly update for April 2016. The months tick by fairly quickly. Not a tremendous lot of output from myself, but I did finally manage to get another Let's Make a Video Game out. Basically the episode that was technically quite hard to get out in a clear manner, so hopefully they'll flow more in the future. But anyway, enough about other videos, on to this one. I always start this video with other pickups that I haven't necessarily made a gameplay of, that mainly consists of modern stuff. I actually have in general shied away from modern stuff lately because I'm just not getting the time to play the games. But it was also my birthday this month, and one of the primary game opportunities that popped up this month was my brother-in-law. I mean, he's a big modern gamer. He plays through his games fairly quickly, obviously, and then either trades them in or sells them off cheaply. So he showed up with a great big giant stack of PS4 games. I mean, he sent me a picture first, and I said, "Oh yeah, I'd be interested in a couple of those." And I picked out a couple, and he basically only wanted $20 each. And then he said, "Well, look, pick out whatever you want, and two of them you can have as your birthday present." So I said, okay, and I picked out this stack here. So I seriously do not know how long it's going to take me to play all of these games. That's my dog, has a cough. He's getting a bit old, unfortunately. Now, a couple of these I mean, and this first one in particular I picked up because my daughter has been playing, I'm going to forget the name of the game again, but anyway, another one of the survival story type games, and no, it's not the Walking Dead one. She's actually been playing it again in the last couple of days. So I thought this one, Dying Light, would be a good fit for her. And it's survival horror sort of stuff, and I might like to play it as well. This next little one I bought purely for my youngest, and I do not regret getting it at all because she played it solidly for 2 or 3 days. She's gone off a little bit now. She got a fair way through the game, and actually she got to a certain stage and got frustrated and hasn't gone back to it. I'm sure she will. A lot of people didn't like this game, I suppose, because it was very samey to the others, but to put it into perspective, we bought the first Little Big Planet when we got our PS3 quite a few years ago. She probably, as a younger child, had played that a little bit and then forgotten about it, so really this was her first proper Little Big Planet game where she played it all by herself and had lots of fun. Now we get into more of the games that I got for me. Now once again, this is more wanting to play these. Whether I can actually get the time to play them is another thing. So I got Fallout 4, and I am really looking forward to playing that one. Far Cry 4, and you can tell the sort of games, I mean, but they're all so large, they're going to take me so long to play. And Dragon Age Inquisition. You just can't say no when they're so cheap. I am a big Middle-earth fan, so Middle-earth Shadows of Mordor. I seriously don't even know what type of game that is. Another big game in its slipcase, Witcher 3. And Bloodborne, I heard some good things about that one. And finally, Dark Souls 2. So, I seriously do not know which of these games I'm going to play first. I only just finished playing Wolfenstein The Old Blood, which I quite enjoyed. I know that's a bit of a shorter episode compared to other people, but that was good because I actually managed to finish it. It's going to be a fight between Far Cry and Fallout, I reckon, for what I'm going to play. Now, other parts of my birthday present. I haven't taken the prices off them, but anyway, one of my daughters gave me these 2 Walking Dead novels. So you've got Walking Dead Descent, which is about about the time when all of the events happened, I suppose a little bit like what they've tried to achieve with Fear the Walking Dead, and the next one is The Rise of the Governor, so a bit of backstory about one of the villains. Actually, my mother-in-law gave me some money. I still haven't actually spent all of it. I suppose I have in some Blu-rays I got here, but I was in a bookstore that has bibs and bobs, and I got all these 3 elite books for $40. So I have no clue how good they are or anything like that, but it's 3 books that will keep me entertained for a little while, and with those other ones. I only just before my birthday bought the next book in the Expanse series, which, by the way, if you haven't seen the TV series, it's actually really, really good. Very close to the first novel, which is called The Leviathan. I do suggest you watch the TV series and then read the book afterwards, because there's more in the book than there is in the TV series, but I think they did a very good job with that, and I hope the TV series comes back. Yeah, I really did enjoy that one. So I suppose you can count these Blu-rays here as part of my birthday money. I got myself a copy of Spectre. I did see it at the Pictures, so we haven't actually watched that again yet. I enjoyed the movie in some part, but I think they stuffed the end up a little bit. The movie's going alright and it fizzles out at the end. It's really the biggest. So I haven't watched that one, and probably the reason why I haven't watched that one are the next 2. I'll do this one first. I found this, and it's actually a 5 Blu-ray pack of the Mission Impossible movies, and they're better than memory has them in some light. I mean, I think they got a little samey and cheesy. We've watched up to number 3. We have watched number 4, Ghost Protocol. But most impressive about this, it has the brand new one, Rogue Nation, on there, which none of us have even saw at the Pictures. So I was hoping we were going to watch Ghost Protocol this weekend just past, but everybody was a bit too busy, so we won't. So that will be our next movie that we'll watch on our projector, and then we'll move on to the new one. So a 5-pack, and I got that had a special sticker, so it was like $42 for 5 Blu-ray movies, and in one pack, so they're all together, and they're not bad. We quite enjoyed them. And of course, on the day it came out, I got myself a copy of Force Awakens. Watched it. Have also watched all of the additional material. The best additional material is the Secrets of the Force Awakens, a cinematic journey. The other bits and pieces are okay. The deleted scenes are pretty weak, actually. There's not very many. But other than that, yeah, very much wanted to get that, enjoyed it, watched it twice at the Pictures, once at home, and still enjoyed it each time. I think that movie has done a good job at introducing a new generation to the Star Wars universe, and having enough in there for us old-timers who've grown up with Star Wars. And I think, obviously you yearn for it to be more complex and to give you more, and it was obviously a little samey with what's happened before. But I think it's given us some new characters to continue the Star Wars story forward. I mean, the other actors are getting quite old, they can't keep going forever, so it'll be interesting what happens in the next episode. Not perfect by any means, but I enjoyed it. Now, I did get a couple of Star Wars cups, but one from my sister, which only arrived a couple of days ago, is in the dishwasher, and the other one, which my daughter gave me, is on my desk, so at work. So, and the other present my sister gave me was something that I haven't bought to date, mainly because of the circumstances around it. So it's David Bowie's Black Star. I had previously listened to a couple of the tracks and liked them, and I have been listening to that a bit over the last couple of days, and I do enjoy it. I was a bit annoyed when this came out that it's just a piece of cardboard like this and no edge things. You put it in with your CDs. It just seems the entire world is against us trying to collect anything physically nowadays. I mean, and look, I fully admit that I just took this and I sucked it into my computer, so I added it to my iTunes, and then also because I've got the iTunes My Music, because I mean I do have multiple daughters, so My Music allows all of them to choose whatever music they want on all of their devices for one fair month. And I didn't realise I could just go and say I want this album on my local device, and it added it. So as long as the artist is covered, you don't actually have to buy. I mean, it's going to kill CD record stores, isn't it? And you can see why they're doing this sort of thing. So yeah, but I still like having the physical copy because I have quite a few other David Bowie albums, and I will still go out there and buy David Bowie albums that I don't have. And then also this week, you know, the news of another of the artists that I have followed for a very, very long time, which is Prince. Absolute legend in the music industry, and that one really hit me hard as well. Same as Bowie. They were two absolute greats of the music industry. I probably technically have more Prince albums than I do physical David Bowie albums, although I think I may have overtaken now with the couple of David Bowie albums I've picked up recently. I followed him for a very, very long time, and you know, a lot of people do not realise the number of other artists that got #1 hits, or even, you know, top charting hits from music he wrote. A lot of the 80s successes all has, you know, a lot of interconnections to music that he wrote. And he's one of the only artists to actually have a top 10 hit of one of his own performed songs and a song performed by other artists that he wrote at the same time, which is Bananarama and I've forgotten the name of the song that he released at the same time. But yeah, it's a tragedy, and yeah, we're losing all our legends at the moment, which is yes, it's hard to deal with sometimes. So yeah. Now another thing, some of this is on special, so I decided to have a bit of a go, and I was curious. I saw I think the main catalyst to this was I saw a video on using a Raspberry Pi 3 and an Arduino Leonardo board, which is quite a simple Arduino board, and making an arcade machine. So not that I've actually done anything about that, and not that I've now just realised that I've got everything that I bought in this box. Got a little shoebox. So I ended up buying this little basic Arduino experimental kit. It has Duinotech Nano, which is a small, more modern Arduino board. Nano to full-size adapter shield because it's a much smaller device. I sort of jumps, resistors, and all sorts of bibs and bobs to get you started. That was on special, so I grabbed that. I got this sensor shield. This was phenomenal. This is a data logging module, so you put an SD card in there and you could log stuff to this. This is only $10. You just plug it on the top of your Arduino. I have a couple of LCD screens. I'm also doing some work for a friend of mine on a sensor device, and he's actually used an old PIC chip to do it, and I've been having a lot of trouble fitting all of the code he wants onto the PIC chip, and I was actually thinking that maybe I could recreate the same sort of thing using some Arduino stuff, and I wanted to play with it. I also got a book which I've left inside as well. I got an Arduino Leonardo as well. I obviously have that plugged into the computer on the inside. another box here. What's that got in it? It's just got a little touchscreen LCD. So lots of stuff. I haven't got myself a Raspberry Pi 3 yet. I probably will. When I start playing with this stuff. I've told myself I'm not allowed to buy anymore until I actually sit down and start playing with that properly. So I'm always interested in stuff, and then time gets, reality picks up and time gets away. Oh, one more thing that was underneath that box. The daughter who gave me the Walking Dead books also put me a Star Wars. I've got lots of Star Wars birthday cards. It was actually quite funny. And one of them came with this little wristband, which is for kids. It will not fit on my wrist. But here we go.
I've been waiting for this day for a long time.
So you turn it on and it plays sound, and if you wave around, and it does lightsaber sounds. Suffice to say, my youngest stole that for a little while and had great fun playing with it. Alright, I think my other pickups and birthday section's probably taken up enough of this video now. I'm going to answer a question, as I often do in these videos, and no, it's not going to be from Novabug this time. It's actually going to be from Alan at Mamemeister, because he asked 5 very interesting random questions. A couple of my long-time YouTube friends have already done answers on this, like Steve Benway and Lactobacillus Prime, and others. Quite a few. I'm quite late to the party on these particular questions. But we'll go through them, and I'll try not to carry on too much. So, favourite video game medium and why? Very good, and he lists, CDs and cartridges and digital downloads and things like that. Let's start with them. I mean, look, from a developer point of view, and indie developers, I do like the convenience and the ability to self-publish that digital distribution has run, but I loathe the abuse that has been made of that by the larger studios, constantly just rushing games out and giving us buggy stuff, and it just doesn't work, which is one of the reasons why I turned off modern gaming quite a bit and just like the older stuff. Now it's convenient and everything like that, but I do not like digital distribution that is tied back to the publisher so they can revoke the rights. So about the only digital content that I have bought is good old game stuff. You download it and they're yours. I have bought the occasional humble bundle Steam package stuff, but I have bought most of that for convenience. They're actually, a lot of them are the PC games that I actually already own, and by doing those downloads they've been fixed so they'll play on modern hardware. So for $20 you get a whole, like all the Star Wars games as an example, all the X-Wings and TIE Fighters, just so if I got the time I could replay those. So not a tremendous fan of digital modern downloads. You of course have Blu-rays, deliver a lot of content and they give you rich game experiences, but we seem to be just getting games that are tied to online stuff and you've got to download more and pay more, so not a fan at all, and they will rot. They will eventually stop working. Just like, I mean, I'm sure we're due for a wave of CD media rotting as well, just like the floppy disks from the Amiga and Atari ST era and all that are definitely starting to suffer now. If you're a collector of software for those machines, you pretty much are given that when you get the software it's only to sit on the shelf and you'll use another form to actually play the game because the disks are more than likely not going to work. So you can see where we're leading here. So definitely I'm a fan of solid state or cartridge media. I agree with, I only just watched Steve anyways, and he mentioned the new modern digital media. I like their idea of them, but they've definitely made them too small. It is far too easy to lose a DS, 3DS, or especially a Vita game. They're just tiny. The size of Game Boy cartridges was quite a nice size. And I reckon they should go back to probably my favourite form of media, which is the Hue card for the PC Engine and the B card for the MSX sort of thing, because surely that form factor, it's the size of a credit card, it's the right size, you can still have some nice artwork on it, and you should be able to store massive amounts in that amount of that sort of a cartridge nowadays. So it's definitely cartridge-based media, with the form factor that is my favourite is the Hue card, credit card size type of thing. And once it's on there forever. Those things are virtually indestructible. The Hue cards, they've got they're completely solid. You can run them over a car, you can wash them in the dishwasher and all those sort of things, and they'll probably still survive. A bit too much water and corrosion maybe on the contacts, that'll kill them eventually, but keep them dry, and they're pretty safe. Also, even with cartridges, the ROM chips are still exposed with connectors in there. With a Hue card, everything is covered over with a solid plastic bond, so all of the parts are sealed away from the elements. So they're the ones that are going to last the longest. So that's what my favourite game medium is. Right, B, how much online gaming do you do now? None whatsoever. My only caveat to that would be I probably logged on to Minecraft 3 months ago. I count that as online gaming, and that's about the only one that I've ever liked. I've never played Call of Duty. I got the Star Wars Battlefront game at Christmas, and I have never once played it online, and have no want to do so. And that is probably one of my biggest disappointments with modern systems and games that I've bought recently. So basically had a quick play of the training missions and put it on the shelf, and that's where it will stay. It's just not my thing. If I wanted to play with a bunch of people in a game, I would have them here in the game room or in our lounge room and play the Wii U. This is a thing that a lot of people miss out on, the Wii U. I do not regret buying the Wii U. Now, it has mostly been played by my kids, but they have had so much fun. The number of times we've had other kids over, cousins and things like that, and everybody has spent several hours playing the Wii U with Mario Kart, or even just the original Nintendo Land and the mini games that are on that. They have so much fun. They do it time and time again, and multiplayer is best done when you can physically interact with the people you're playing multiplayer with. I've just never got online multiplayer gaming in total. Haven't even ever played a multiplayer dungeon or anything like that even. Alright, have you ever written a game? Yeah, I've written a couple. Obviously that's part of my career, has always been writing software. I didn't necessarily stay in the game industry, but for those of you who don't know, I have been writing computer software for 30 years now. And I wrote quite a lot of games for the original Spectre Video, which transitioned into the MSX. And I'm an active Homebrew developer. I've ported some of my titles to the Coleco, and as I'll talk about in a minute when I get to the Homebrew section, I have my second game coming out for the NES very shortly. But where did it all start? Playing games as a kid in Tandy electronic stores on the Terracades, and led to me getting a TI-99-4, which is one of the chiclet keyboard, writing basic programs there, going to college programming a PDP-11 shared system in the first year, and BBC Model Bs in our second year of college. I wrote, there was the online or server-based version of Star Trek. I actually wrote a version called Super Star Trek, where instead of having single individual sectors, you had one large open sector, and I was supposed to write that on the BBC micros, but I ran them out of memory, and I ended up being the only student to actually write their project in that second year on the PDP-11 system, because it was the only thing that could compile the game. And I wrote that in Pascal. All that time back then, yeah, I've been learning lots of languages ever since, yeah, currently still writing more homebrew games, which I'll talk about more soon because I always like to cover my homebrew stuff. Do you ever think one day you'll decide to give up on YouTube? Like others, I'm not going to suddenly just take down my videos one day. I'm going to leave them up there, but I can see that as time goes by, obviously at the moment I struggle to put up content as regularly as I would like, because I have a job, I have kids, and real life stuff comes first. But I still enjoy doing it. I enjoy the production process. I like the actual editing as well, the creative process of that. So if you enjoy something, you're going to continue doing it. As others have mentioned, YouTube itself may change, and what it changes into might necessarily be what I like. So you can't say with absolute certainty that I won't stop creating content at some stage in the future. But I have no intention of doing so now. I'll continue to publish videos because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy interacting with the community. I suppose as long as there's a community out there. We all don't know what's going to happen as things change in the future, and our constantly changing and evolving digital world that we live in. How many hours a week do you devote to making YouTube content? Well, currently at the moment I'm pretty much constrained to the weekends. We've reached the time of the year where it's dark by 5:30 now. We being so southern, during the summer periods down here you see it's light all the time, even up to 9 p.m. So in the evening, and after work I get tired and I don't really feel like going out of my house and through the dark into this room, even though turning on the lights and everything like that, it's just a winter mode I go into. I've got a PC in there. I have my Retron 5, which I find quite useful for playing some of the Super Famicom games I've been getting lately, and I play games and I write on PCs or my laptop, if you know what I mean, in my downtime rather than making videos during the week. So the weekend, and kids are active and everything like that, so at the moment I'm the only one home, so this is why I can make this video now. So it's really only a couple of hours on the weekend, and I am pretty much adamant of continuing with the Tubers High School Challenge. I like playing arcade games and trying to set a score. One of the original things I have is a little book of personal high scores that whenever I have a playing game session, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to beat a high score, and that's the sort of gaming I do. I'm an arcade high score based gamer rather than a modern story based, which is why some of more modern games just aren't finding my taste. I mean, I do love the big games. I mean, look at the stack of PS4 games, the ones that I picked. They're all ones with a large story and something to explore and everything like that. I do love that, but I just find I don't have the time. And well, the PS4 has been played by 2 of my daughters at the moment. We've only got the one. I'm not going to get another one. I probably would make some more progress in my PS3 games, but I still haven't fixed my original PS3. There is a PS3 in the other lounge room, but that's quite often in use being a media player. Or even the girls, when they're on holidays, they were playing one of the both of the Lego Harry Potter games as well. So we do have multiple screens in our house, but I still find trouble getting to one at the appropriate time. I'm actually thinking of moving the Retron 5 into our bedroom, so I can play it on the screen in there. Go and hide in there for a little while. It's being antisocial though, so sitting out on the couch using the laptop is probably the best I get. Yeah, so really good questions from Alan. Lots. I apologise for not being able to do this a couple of weeks ago, but I just didn't get time to make the video. So I said I'm a little late to the party with this, but it's a community question. It's good to keep the discussion going. So I'll leave a link down below to Alan's video. Go check out his channel. He's got a really good, he tries to have a weekly blog or talk and everything like that, and he goes over a lot of stuff, and he, unlike me, his content's pretty regular. Alright, so next part of this video, and I'll only keep this short, is my homebrew update. So I have been trying, even though I'm a busy life, to get as much homebrew development done as possible. My Meteor Swarm game, which is my original Meteor Swarm game that I wrote for the original Spectre video, MSX, and is on my EA Classics for Coleco, and was also included as a mini game part of the NES Championship cart that I wrote for the Game On Expo over in Arizona for Gamester 81. I only spent 3 days adding that game in as the third game, so what I've done, I've taken that game and I have made it more NES-like. I've added more to the gameplay, and it's stable now. It's what we call gold, so no more changes will be made to it, and what is there will be actually on the cartridges. I believe they're looking at both a cartridge, just straight cartridge with label version, and you could pay extra for a box, because Collectavision haven't actually published properly an NES game besides the Championship Cup, which was sold at the Expo properly, so they're testing the market. They'll do it in small runs to start with, so it depends on the interest out there. Just don't know, but they will be able to do reprints. I'm not sure they will be numbered, but I don't think that matters to as many people as possible, and in my opinion, just having a certain number of things available, a certain number of people, is not allowing more people to play your game. And as a developer, I like as many people as possible to play the game. And also having a cartridge only release will keep the costs down if you don't, because by the time you add a box and instructions and everything like that, you're talking around, I think, $50 US. So having a loose cartridge will allow to have a cheaper entry point for those that just want to get a cartridge. And not everybody wants boxes. So that's gone gold. So ready to go, gameplay is really good. Now added in, changed the difficulty curve a little bit because my old games tended to be pretty hard. So it allows you to get into the game more, still increases in speed, and yeah, nobody has found any bugs in it lately. So it's looking very good, and very excited to get that one out the door. It's always that last few percent of a video game that takes the longest to get done, to get those last couple of bugs out, to make sure that the difficulty level's right, there's enough options in there. So even though that's only a simple game, hopefully it's a simple, fun arcade game that a few people out there will like to get. My focus from now on for the next couple of months will be totally on the Super Nintendo game that I'm working on, and I really hope to be able to, I'm working on that for Collectavision for one of their projects, helping out another developer who's working out on another Super Nintendo title, so I'm focusing on one, he's focusing on the other. So I'll see how we go this month. Things have settled down a bit more now, get a bit done, and maybe I can do a demo of what I've been working on. The Super Nintendo is definitely quite a different machine to work on than the Nintendo. It still doesn't have a very powerful central processor, but in my word does it have some really nice graphics and sound capabilities. You've just got to program it in the right way to get it to look nice and work. So it's a lot more work working on a Super Nintendo game than it is an NES game. And I do want to get that out of the way because I now have a bit of a backlog of both Coleco and Nintendo releases I'd like to get onto. But I have pretty good toolkits for both now, so once I switch back to them, and that's the thing that takes the time, it's getting up to speed on a system and building up a set of tools that enable you to work and progress and debug and yeah, basically get your game finished, rather than it just being a demo. Alright, that's probably enough waffling for this month for me. So it's been an interesting month, lots of modern stuff there that I'm truly not sure when I'll get to play. Some good movies, good music, sadness and losing another one of our greats, some good books to read, and some Arduino electronics to play with when I get the time. So, I hope everybody out there in YouTube land had a good month and is looking forward to a good month in May as well. I'm Electric Adventures. Thanks to all my subscribers. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.